Ethan, scoop it up. Huh? You gotta try it. You gotta at least taste it. Good, Julia. Leah's gonna, she said, I will get these noodles. Get it, girl. Is that how we ask? That's not how we ask. Let me know when you figure it out. Huh? It's actually got a red napkin. What does red mean?
Good luck.
Good luck. That's why we're wearing our red today.
Not everybody.
Well, you know.
Like Daniel got ready.
Our hearts are okay. Say, all right, parents, at 11 o'clock, we're going to go on Skype with someone that has been to China. We're going to ask some questions. So we'll be back on at 11. Yep. And say, leave a comment below. Julia, say, leave a comment below.
Leave a comment below.
And we'll see y'all back at 11 for interview
Bye,
time.
China.
Say, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Bye, China.
Right here. And say, hi, I'm Ariel.
Hi, I'm Ariel.
Nice to meet you, Ariel. Ni hao, Ariel.
Say, ni hao.
Ni hao.
Okay.
What's your question, Ariel?
What does the dragon look like?
What does the dragon look like in China?
Yeah.
Well, the dragon, I don't know if you guys have seen any movies, and dragons are in movies. However, dragons aren't real. Eesh.
Oh, no.
But people in China talk about dragons a lot. So, you know how in America we talk about the bald eagle?
You know how we like the bald eagle for America? Say yes.
Yes.
Well, in China, the dragon's kind of like the country symbol. So, the dragons aren't real. I've never seen one ever. But there's a lot of books and songs about dragons.
Say, well, thank you for answering my question.
Thank you for answering my question. Who are you?
Yeah, this is my dad.
Say, thanks for joining us. Okay.
Ariel, can I say one more thing, though? So that was a good question about animals. But you know what is real?
What?
Pandas. Panda bears.
We talked about that, didn't we?
There's panda bears in China, in western China, in a city called Chengdu. There's a whole zoo for pandas, and there's about 100 pandas there.
We would love to go there.
Have you guys ever seen pandas? Raise your hand if you have.
You have Julia.
No? Julia has. Okay, cool. Because, Julia, you probably saw like 1 or 2 pandas in D.C. at the D.C. Zoo, but in the China Zoo, there's like 100.
We need to go there, don't we? Yeah.
And guess what the pandas like to do? They like to eat. Raise your hand if you like to eat.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. They also like to sleep. Raise your hand if you like to sleep. Oh, so you guys are kind of like pandas because you like to eat and sleep.
That's my sister.
Yeah. Aaron, does that answer your question?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. That was a good question.
All right, go have a seat. Let's see. Who else has Claire? Thank you for sitting nicely. Claire's going to come up and ask a question.
How you doing, Claire?
Good.
Okay, go ahead. Read them your
Wow.
question.
Yeah.
You have a question?
Yes.
All right, let's hear it.
What is it like in China?
What's it like in China? Well, China is a really big country, similar to the United States, so it's really, really big. I lived in the cities. The 2 main cities in China are Beijing and Shanghai. And inside the cities, there's lots and lots of people. There's lots of people, and it's fun because there's always something happening on the street. You walk everywhere, you see a lot of other people, and you get to take the metro. You know the subway. Do you know what the subway is? Yeah. So you get to take the subway a lot. Claire, how do you get to school?
In car.
Car? Well, imagine in China, if you drove the car, you would be sitting in traffic for a very long time.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's not good.
That wouldn't work for our little bladders.
No.
No.
No. So in China, the population is a lot. It's about 4 times the amount of America.
Whoa.
So there's a lot of people, but it's fun because there's lots of things to do in the cities.
Okay, say thank you for answering my question.
Thank you for answering my question.
No problem.
Okay, let's see who's next. Zamarian. Come on, Zamarian.
I'm raising my hand, Parker.
Okay, come right here.
How you doing, Zamarian?
There you go. Right there. Look right there in that. You see it? Look right here.
Gotcha.
There we go. Okay, ask
Nice
him.
clap.
Say thanks.
Thanks.
Can you say ni
What's
hao?
your question, Zamarian?
Read it. What's it say? What?
Kind of food.
Yeah, go ahead, say it.
What kind of food do you eat?
What kind of food do you eat in China? That's a very good question. So you eat Chinese food in China, but the Chinese food in China is different than the Chinese food in America. Have you had orange chicken?
I love orange chicken.
They don't have orange chicken in China.
Oh.
Who's had a fortune cookie?
We just ate 5 of them.
Guess what?
Okay, I did.
Don't have fortune cookies in China.
What?
Yeah.
What did we just eat then?
So, the American Chinese food is different than the Chinese Chinese food. What's really good, my favorite food to eat are called dumplings.
Mmm.
Ooh. In dumplings, you can you either put it in water and boil it, or you can put it on the pot and kind of like fry it. So they're called pot stickers because the dumplings stick to the pot. So that's my favorite food. They're called dumplings. In dumplings, you can put soy sauce on it and some vinegar, and it's really good. Right, Zamarian, can I tell you about a food that I think is very interesting? It's something called stinky tofu. So, stinky tofu, it's like the way its name is. It's stinky. So when you're cooking it, I've never cooked it before, but you get to walk down the street, and usually there's carts, like little lemonade stands almost, but they're selling stinky tofu. And when you walk by it, it smells like a bathroom.
Oh. Raise your hand if you would eat it.
But the Chinese people love it. So although it stinks, it's very good.
Huh.
So, for example, I was with my friend, and we were in China on Christmas, and my friend, he didn't want to eat stinky tofu at all. It's stinky. But I took a bite of it, and I didn't think I was going to like it, but it was actually pretty good. And then my friend took a bite, and he took a bite, and he goes, And so he didn't like it in the beginning, but he took another bite, and it was pretty good. So stinky tofu is a very interesting and unique food in China because it stinks, but Chinese people love it.
Okay, well, thank you for...
Does that answer your question, Zamarian?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That's a good question.
All right. Julia, come on.
Hello, Julia. Long time no see. Hey, what's your question, Julia?
Is there any horses in China?
Are there any horses in China? That's a good question.
I know I don't have a
There are horses in China. There are a lot of horses in the western part of China. And there's both wild horses and horses like at stables that you get to ride around. Julia, do you ride horses at home?
Only at the stables.
At the stables. So there's stables in China too. So if you went to China, you could ride horses at the stables. But what's unique about China is in the western part of China, there's a lot of grassland. And in the grassland, there's wild horses that they still that gallop around. And there's like 50 or 100 horses all together at once, and they're all wild. And then every now and then, the people that need horses for the stables, they come and collect the wild horses and get the stable. They put the horses in stables so people like you and other Chinese people get to ride them. Sound good? Would you want to go to China and ride horses? Yeah. Yeah.
Have you rode a horse in China?
Have I ridden a horse in China? That's a good question. I have not ridden a horse in China, but I've ridden a yak.
Oh.
What's a yak?
What's a yak? A yak is like a long-haired horse that has these big horns in the front, and it usually has a hump. And so it's similar to a horse, but longer hair, and in the back it has a hump. And the yaks are really strong like horses, and they help to do like farm work. So it's kind of like in China, it's a horse, but it helps to do the farm work like a cow.
Okay. Huh. How many of you would ride a yak? Raise your hand. If you'd ride a yak. Would you ride the back of a yak?
The back of a yak with a hump.
Okay, all right. So thank you for answering my question.
Thank you for answering my question.
All
That's a good question, Julia.
All right, let's see. Logan.
What's up, Logan?
Is it Chinese New Year there?
Is it Chinese New Year in China? Yeah. So, China is on the other side of the world, right?
Yes.
So, from Alabama, it's about 12 hours difference. So right now, it's 12 in the afternoon, and it's bright outside. But in China, it's 12 at night, and it's dark outside. And yes, people in China right now are celebrating Chinese New Year. And the way that people celebrate Chinese New Year is it's like Christmas. So at Christmas in America, you get to go to family or friends' houses, and you get to eat a big meal, right? Yeah. So in China, everyone goes home. So if you live like 10-hour train ride away, you will take the 10-hour train ride and go all the way home, and then you'll celebrate Chinese New Year. When it's summer and it's like 100 degrees down in Alabama, there will still be snow up on Mount Everest in the western part of China.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, really cool. Really cool. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
All right, that was a good question.
All right, Lily.
Thank you.
Yep. How you doing, Lily? Good. What's your question?
Go ahead.
Question is, where do you live?
Where did I live?
What does a house look like in China?
What do a house look like in China?
So I couldn't hear you. Do you mind repeating it one more time?
What does a house look like in China?
A lot of people take an elevator up to their apartment in their apartment building. So, like in America, unlike in America, where we usually have a home in green grass, in China they usually live in apartments. Does that answer your question? All right. And also, one more thing. Usually in China, a traditional Chinese household will have grandparents, parents, and then one kid, all living in one place.
Oh, wow.
All living in one apartment. So, do your grandparents live at your house? At your house at home. Do your grandparents live at your house? No. So, in China, a traditional China household would have, your grandparents would move to your house. And then you would live with your grandparents, parents, and do you have brothers or sisters?
I don't have a brother, but I do have a sister.
You have a sister, okay.
Two sisters.
In China, usually it's only one child. So usually you don't have any brothers or sisters. So usually in China, a traditional Chinese household would have your grandparents, parents, and just you.
No
Does that make
sisters.
sense?
Wouldn't that be sad? Yeah. Okay, last question. Let me see. Hold up, let me see. Okay, let's see. Aaliyah. Go ahead. Hang on. Well, he answered yours about snow.
How you doing, Aaliyah?
He said it's very cold.
Good? Do you want me to read your question, or do you think you can read it?
Talk loud. This is your one time you gotta talk super loud.
What are some fun things to do in China? Well, what are some fun things to do in China? Well, if you live in the city, a lot of people, and Chinese people really like to eat food. And Chinese food is really good. So, a lot of people go to restaurants, and they'll sit at a restaurant, and they'll invite all their friends around. So they'll have like 15 people at a restaurant. And at the restaurants, usually tables are round. See those tables in back of you guys?
Stand behind us.
Are those round or are those rectangle? Rectangle.
Thank you.
Well, in China, the tables at restaurants are usually round like a circle. And the reason for that is because when you invite a lot of people to eat food with you, you can share food easily. And so usually there's this, it's called a lazy Susan. It's like it's like a table on top of the table, and you spin it. You spin it to help share the food.
Ooh.
So, fun things to do in China are go to the Chinese restaurant and have all your friends sitting at a round table and sharing a meal on a lazy Susan. Other fun things to do I like to do are I like to play ping pong. Do you guys know ping pong? Yeah. Ping pong is table tennis. So when I went to college in China, and when I was in college in China, after my classes in the afternoon, after all my homework was done, I would go to the ping pong hall, the table tennis hall. And inside the table tennis hall, there was like a gymnasium. There was there was about 30 ping pong tables. And we would play ping pong. Some things to do in China are eat a big meal, play ping pong. I'm going to give you one more fun thing to do in China. Another fun thing to do, if you're in Beijing, which is the capital, you get to go to the Great Wall.
Ooh.
Have you heard of the Great Wall?
I haven't talked about that yet.
The Great Wall. Well, the Great Wall is a really long wall. It's about 2,000 miles long.
Whoa.
Think of it would go from like Alabama all the way to California. It would be really long, yeah. And it was built about 1,000 years ago. So before your mom and dad were born, before your grandparents were born, before any of us were born, before TV.
Wow.
That's how old this wall is. And if you're in Beijing, you can go to the wall and you can go walk along the Great Wall. So fun things to do in China are, 1, eat a big meal with all your friends and family on a round table. 2, play ping pong. And 3, go to the Great Wall. Does that answer your question?
Okay, thank you.
All right.
All right. Well, what do we need to say to Mr. Trey for giving us all this wonderful information? Everybody say it real loud. Thank you.
You're welcome.